Today's guest on the One-on-One podcast is a 32-year-old private chef born and raised in Kansas City, Missouri, Ian Frierson. Ian specializes in a variety of different cuisines and loves to share his passion for cooking by creating high-quality dishes that not only taste great, but don't leave you hungry. Ian is a prolific leader, chef, and problem solver who knows what it's like to build his way up from the bottom. His love for food goes beyond the stove and savor. He doesn't just want you to eat food, but he wants you to experience it. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the podcast. My name is Isaiah, and we're super excited to do something different today. So we have a special guest. He is a dear friend. He is a co-worker of mine, but most importantly, he has a really wide range of expertise, and I've gotten to see all of his wisdom and knowledge applied in the workplace and even outside of his discipline is very surreal. And it's very encouraging even to me. And so I thought it would be a really good idea to have my friend Ian with me. So what's up, Ian?
Hey, how's it going?
Good. So Ian is he is a chef, right? Outside of work, right? He is a cook. He has a lot of experience in the kitchen. So today we're going to talk about recipes for, self-leadership. And so one of the things that's really important is a lot of people are decent at leading other people, but sometimes it's harder to lead yourself. And so I kind of want to just start there, like defining that self-leadership is the ability to lead yourself. Leading other people, people rely on you and all these things. But when you're talking about self-leadership, it's more of like you have to lean on yourself and your own disciplines to be able to succeed in whatever that you're doing. And so I know that kind of transfers into your experience with cooking. So first and foremost, Ian, I don't know, give you a chance to introduce yourself. So why cooking? What got you into it?
I don't know. Ever since I was little, I just remember watching my mom cook for me or the family or anything, and just, I don't know, it's you're helping the people you care about survive. Like, everyone needs food, so it might as well be enjoyable when you eat it. The very first thing I ever made was this teriyaki chicken thing. I don't know how good it was, but my mom gave me the most praise. She's like, "Oh my God, it's so good!" Blah blah. And that just lit a fire in me. And ever since then, I've just been cooking, trying new recipes. I think I was in elementary school or something, and it's just I don't even remember the recipe, but just that little simple thing and the encouragement just sparked something in me. So. Went to culinary school for a little bit. Actually, no, before that, I worked my way up as a dishwasher at this bar. And
what a place to start.
My very first job was just a dishwasher at this dive bar. And one of the guys, I told him I like cooking and stuff, so every once in a while he'd get me on the grill or help him prep just bar food, burgers, chicken, mozzarella sticks, that kind of stuff. And then one of the cooks went to this nursing home where he's a full-blown cook, and he was like, I'll bring you over there. And I was like, okay, bet.
Experience, yeah.
So again, I had to work my way up from the bottom. Started off as a dishwasher, just watching the cooks and showing interest in everything, and eventually I became a prep cook, showed my skills and everything, helped build the menus, and then eventually I was the head cook there, right under the executive chef. So I was helping make the menus and everything. And then at the same time, I was going to school at DeVry. But it was for computer information systems, and I got this job at the Federal Reserve. So there was this moment where I had to decide whether I want to follow my passion and keep cooking, or go the path that I think would make more money. And so unfortunately, well, I guess it's not unfortunate because I still learned some stuff, but I went down the tech path, did that for 5 years. And it just drained me because I was in customer service. So resetting people's passwords, people yelling at me. I think the worst one was someone was like, "I'm going to take your firstborn child," and all this other kind of
goodness.
stuff. I was like, I'm going to get my manager. Hold on a second.
That is.
But yeah, after that, but the whole time I'm still cooking for at home and cooking for family and everything. I was like, I gotta do what I love. So I dropped that, got a cooking job at a AMC, one of the cooking ones. And from there, it's the same thing kind of happened. Like one of the cooks there, he got a job at another nursing home, and he brought me over there. And this time, again, I worked my way up from a dishwasher. Like the executive chef, it's like, okay, you're gonna wash dishes now, and then we're gonna have you prep. And did that for a couple months.
Stuff, yeah.
Proved myself, and again worked my way up from the dishwasher to the executive chef, to where the executive chef literally just gave me full reign of the kitchen. Like I made all the menus.
Wow, that's awesome.
And I was cooking for like 200 people there. So making big batch meals. So after that I've worked at hotels, I've worked at casinos. When I worked at the casino, there was this
let them know the story.
And I worked at a casino. I won't say the name of the casino, but they had this competition between the cooks to see who could make the best dish.
We're gonna post his dish. We'll post his dish on the screen.
And I came up with this steamed pork bun.
Okay.
It was like pork belly that had hoisin sauce glazed over it with this pickled onion and relish and stuff on top of it, and blew everyone out of the water. I was like, okay, cool. And what I won was this like certificate to one of the other restaurants. I was like, okay, cool. And this is when I had transitioned. I worked at the casino. I went to the hotel, and then I came back. When I came back, my dish was on the menu at one of the restaurants. I'm just like,
robbed you.
I'm like, what is this? They changed one little thing. They changed the ingredients and the pickled stuff on top. I was like, I mean, I guess, but still, y'all didn't say y'all was gonna take my recipe and put it on the menu, but I know how good I am, so it's fine.
Yeah.
And then that was one of the last jobs at the casino. That's where I learned about chocolate at the casino, because they have all their little restaurants and they have a bakery up top.
Oh yeah, you gotta let them know.
And the chef up there, he was making these little filled chocolates or something for a special event. I was like, oh hey, what's this? And is really interesting, because at this point I had like worked in all the restaurants at the casino. I've worked at hotels, like I've worked at all these fancy stuff, but then there's something about like the dessert part. Like you can make this chocolate dessert taste like anything. You can make it taste like margarita, you can make it taste like
Charlie and Chocolate Factory stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So I started shadowing him. Like he never had a spot open in the bakery. The people that worked up there had been there for literally 10, 15 years. Like they loved it up there, and I see why, because he treated everyone fairly. He expected the best out of people, but he always had their back and stuff. And so after that, I worked for an actual chocolatier. It's called Andre's on the Plaza in Kansas City.
Oh, yeah.
I worked there for a year and a half, perfected my chocolate skill, and then when I was ready, I left and I started my own business, Frierson Chocolates, of little filled chocolates. I'll give you some pictures to post on the podcast, but yeah, I ran that for a couple, like half a year almost. But then COVID hit. The commissary kitchen I was working at, everyone caught COVID, so the whole kitchen shut down.
Oh man.
No one was having events anymore. No one was having weddings, and it just completely shut it down. And like everything lined up. Like my insurance fell through. I couldn't get the kitchen inspected. Like everything was just gone. So I had to put an end to it. But ever since then, I've been cooking in my free time, cooking for friends and family.
Yeah. Yeah, the reason why he's wearing his chef shirt, chef jacket, whatever you want to call it, is because he literally just cooked us some crazy food. So what you saw in the intro is what he was cooking. He was cooking breakfast fried rice.
That's what I call it. It's not an actual thing.
He calls it breakfast fried rice, and let me tell you, it was amazing. I mean, Jacob, was it good?
It was good.
It was fire. Like he cooked for us, and we were sitting there like, dang, we got to cook more. Oh man. And so no, it's interesting because in your story there was a lot of moments where you worked one place, you built your way up, and then you went to a new place, but you had to start from the bottom. You had to work, and so like just the ups and downs of like starting from the beginning, learning the skill, building your skills, getting to another place, then having to I'm sure there was a ton of lessons that you were learning along the way. So like what were some of those things that you took away, like off the cusp, like what were some of the things that you took away that you were like, man, I can use this outside of just cooking, that were harder for you to learn?
At the time when I learned these lessons, I didn't necessarily apply them to things in my everyday life. They just kind of started melding together. The first thing you will learn in a kitchen is how to take constructive criticism.
Yeah.
Now, the person giving it to you might not word it the best, but they have your best intentions in mind.
Yeah.
So they'll taste something. Oh, this tastes horrible. Look, redo it. Like they're in a crunch. Like they're trying to get some stuff out there. They don't have time to sit here and write a freaking report on your dish. They're just like, hey, fix this. It's too salty. It needs more flavor. It needs whatever. So you learn real quickly. Either you're gonna quit because of that, or you're gonna become a better person of taking that constructive criticism there.
Yeah, that's one of the hardest things. I think constructive criticism. I mean, there's so many approaches to it, right? People like do like the sandwich idea where they're just like, they tell them something really nice, 5 million things, and then they like squeeze it in there. Yeah, you need to fix this, and then they tell them another million things. And I know, like you told me, in the kitchen, it's just like, hey, it was garbage. You gotta start.
I learned that in the kitchen. Like you just say exactly like this tastes horrible. This is why I think. Fix it. That's it. I'm not gonna baby you. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. We're adults. Yeah. We're here to make money. No one's gonna buy this. So,
yeah, it's like even when we're working in our regular day job as content creators, it's like we have so many moments where it's like that, where like we make something, it's like, yeah, it's not the best. No. Like, and it's so much better. Like, Ian's always told me, and it's just something a good takeaway for anyone that's listening. When you're getting constructive criticism, it's not like, never take it personal.
Never take it personal.
It's literally because the person has your best interest in their heart or in their mind. And so trust the leaders that are around, trust the people that you're surrounded with, trust your team, because it's literally for the betterment of who you are. Yeah. Like I'm sure like when you're cooking and then you go to another place or you go to a different job that's not cooking, you can apply that when someone tells you, hey, you completely screwed this up. You're like, man, it's because there's probably something I actually did that I need to fix within my process. So
that's happened at our current job. Like when I was working my way up there, like someone said, like, don't take this personal. I was like, just tell me what I did wrong. And like, oh, okay, you took that pretty well. I was like, well, like not doing my job right. So tell me.
Tell me where to fix it. Were there any challenges for you as a chef that kind of forced you to take a different approach, like in just anything, like things that you've picked up? Things that you're like, man, I need to take a different approach to this in just life or in cooking, in things that you can kind of twist and look through. I don't know. What are some of those things could have been?
One thing is work smarter, not harder. I know people have heard that all different kinds of ways, but it especially applies when you're a cook, because let's say I'm making food for 200 people.
Yeah.
I want to cut out as many like stepping over here, stepping over there, going in there. I get everything I need. If I have to cut stuff, if I have to cut like 10 different things, I'm going to cut everything while I have the knife in my hand and then move on to the next thing. Because I'm not going to cut this, put it down, go do this, cut that, like get everything together, batch like tasks together, and that'll help cut down
that time.
Yeah.
Did you find that like I noticed that like, so outside of this, right, I know that you read a lot of books, like self-help books, things like leadership books and all that stuff. Did you find that was something that other people struggled with, like right off the bat? Like when you're working around other people, what are some of those things like that you've seen right away that you're like, man, if you just knew this skill or knew this tip that I can, that I know?
I personally am a believer in like a whole bunch of improving a lot of little things as opposed to one big thing.
That's good.
Because if I improve 1%, like just the tiniest amount every single day, that's better than over the course of a couple weeks learning one big trick that helps me. Like and I only improve 10%.
Yeah.
Like if I like 1% every day for a month, you've improved 30%. Do that another month, you've improved 60%.
Yeah.
Like that's how I look at my life. Every time I do something, I try to shave off half a second, try to like, oh, well, I should have, I don't know, grabbed one more head of garlic or something like that.
Yeah. Anything
that can shave off of just a little bit of time, it all adds up. So
yeah, I think too, when doing that, a good thing to keep in mind is, it's like you said, it's better to take 1% every day than 10% over several weeks or a month or whatever, how long it's been. At least, like, it's setting benchmarks for yourself in short spans to achieve the bigger goal. even when we're working in our regular day jobs, or if you're just trying to pick up a skill, right? Like, you know me, like I'm trying to do my marketing business and all this stuff. Like, you just got to do it. You just got to start somewhere. Like, start at point A and go to point B. You know what I'm saying? Like, and don't try to get to Z, because and some people, it's real easy to look at the big picture. Oh man, that person did a crazy good product or has crazy good clients, or man, I want to get to the point Z, and then try to do things that look like point Z, but it's really not, because we skip the process. And
you don't know everything they did behind the scenes to get to that point.
Exactly. And so I want to talk about that process, is that people are taught to just endure the process, but not enjoy the process and take in what's happening during the process to get to point Z. So, like, what can you, like, if you want to touch on that?
So another thing I learned in cooking is learn the basics, learn the foundations correctly before you worry about, like, speeding up.
Yeah.
Because that happened to me. Like, you've probably seen the chefs where they're cutting real fast. So, like, everyone's like, oh, I wish I could cut like that real quick. And so, like, the first cooking job I got, I was like, I tried to do that, but I didn't have a good technique, and I ended up cutting myself really bad. I cut like the corner of my thumb off, and so I had to relearn. So you learn the basics properly, and then you use that 1%. Like, okay, get a little bit faster today, and then in a month you're almost there. So you gotta make sure you learn the foundations first before worrying about taking off and being quick at it.
Man, that's so important. Like, for anyone that is trying to improve anything in life, you cannot just be fast. I love I think it was an African proverb that said that if you want to go fast, go alone, but if you want to go far, go together. But that's like, it applies to anything. Like, even in this, like, don't try to just do it fast, because I guarantee if you're going to do it fast, you're going to screw it up somewhere, or it's not going to be the quality that it should be. So might as well take the time to build it, do the process, right? Like,
yeah, and in the kitchen, if you do it fast and wrong, you're gonna have to do the whole thing over again, and it's gonna take more time than just doing it slow and correct the first time. Like, that's happened to me so many times.
Might as well just do the thing right the first time, and just.
Oh, you made the soup in an hour, and it's supposed to take 2 hours. It tastes like crap. Throw the whole thing out. Do it again. Sorry.
Start from the beginning.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I like that. Something that we talked about before that I want you to talk about. I think it's really good. It's about emotions.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he talked about like, yeah, you're getting too emotionally attached to this. Like, someone will tell me something, and I'll be like, man, like, I get all emotional about it, or, you know. So what? Like, I know being in the kitchen, you're like hard criticism all day. Like, bro, that's terrible. Start all over. Like.
Yeah.
How do you like, what are some things you do in your mind, like checks and balances, to help you not take something personal or emotional?
So yeah, this kind of goes back to being able to take constructive criticism. So 99% of the time when people tell you something is wrong, they're not trying to break you down. They're not trying to make you feel bad. They're telling you, like we said before, they're trying to help you. And just in my mind, it's like, if I do a job and I'm bad at it, I have to remind myself, well, I just started this job. I'm not the best person at it. Like, I still need help. They're trying to help me, so I shouldn't take it personally.
Yeah.
And even if it's like, if I've been doing something for a long time and they're like, oh, well, this is crap. Well, is this person an expert in it? If they're not, then like, oh, so what do you, like, get to the bottom of it. What do you mean it's crap? Like, what about it do you not like?
Yeah.
And most of the time it's their own personal preference.
Preference for sure.
But yeah, every once in a while that little 1% is people that just want to bring you down because they see you doing well, or they see you, I don't know, they're going through a hard time trying to make other people feel bad, that kind of stuff. So
like, just because you stink doesn't mean I have to stink. Don't bring me down with your garbage. Oh man, no, it's to the point. It's to the point. I think too, also another piece of the puzzle of, like, when I think of, like, leading myself, like, there's this piece, and it all ties in. It's so fun. Like, everything we're talking about kind of ties into each other, but there's something that you did. We were recording downstairs. I was like, can I get a image of you just eating and tasting the food? You kept doing that, like, throughout. You were, like, tasting different things. You were making sure. So, like, how, like, that's so important, right? You know, as you go, you're taking these different benchmarks, and I, like, as a leader, as someone who if you're learning anything, if you're trying to lead in different capacities, you can't just show up. And, there has to be in between places that you stop and check and evaluate. And that's the word I want to use, evaluate. You have to evaluate yourself. You have to evaluate what you're doing. And so what are some of those things that you do, like benchmarks that you have, or like, it doesn't have to relate to cooking, but if you want to, it can. But in anything, like, I don't know, I want you to speak to that piece.
So yeah, you always taste as you go. Like if you work in a kitchen longer than a day, you're going to hear taste as you go. And I apply that to my whole life. You don't want to spend, like I said, hours working on something just to, at the end, like evaluate and like, oh, this is complete crap. I should have stopped when I did XYZ. Like, so every step I do, I always evaluate. So I cut these up, make sure they all look good. I saute these, make sure they're cooked correctly. I add this to that, make sure it tastes the way it's supposed to taste. Like, I'd rather stop, take a couple seconds, evaluate, as opposed to at the end, wait, see it's crap, and then have to start all the way over.
Yeah. You even did something, he was cooking the rice, and he like spread out the rice, and he left a spot in the middle of the pan, and as he was adding his sauce, and I don't know, you want to talk to them about that, like why you did that?
So that is a trick I recently started doing. Okay. So like I'm making the rice, and in the pan I'll make a little well so I can see the bottom of the pan. Especially when you're seasoning it with liquids, because I had soy sauce. It's really easy to over season something with soy sauce because it's so salty. So before I would just pour it and just kind of like a bartender, like 1, 2, 3. Hopefully that's enough. But now I open it up, see how much is in there, because I can kind of eye like what's a tablespoon, teaspoon, how much I need, and then once I see how much is in there, then I'll start in. So
yeah, I thought it was cool because it's just like how you were saying. It's like you were measuring exactly how much you wanted, right? And if you just try to just put it everywhere, you could end up over seasoning it because you're just trying to do it however, right? Just trying
I saw Rachel Ray do this.
You're just trying to get it done rather than measure each piece, and by measuring each piece helps you come up with a masterpiece that actually tastes good.
I'm reacting to what is already there as opposed to just following the standard recipes.
Exactly. Okay, so one thing that you do, and this carries over into our job as content creators, like even when you're testing trainings and things like that, you're constantly control S, saving, test after every feature that you add. And that is just something always helpful when you're trying to improve yourself. Like, first of all, save your projects.
Yes.
Yeah, you're going to end up like losing everything. But also just like continuously test what you have to see if it's working, because if you're not, you're going to end up getting to the end of oh man, finally done. Test it. It's all broken.
And don't be too emotionally attached to what you create to where you don't start over. Like if you, let's say you're going along, you're testing it, you're thinking everything's going right, and you get to the end and like, oh, I forgot to test for this part, or this isn't working quite right. Don't be afraid to start over, because you're going to keep work at it for another day, 2 days. And then at the end of that, you're like, this just isn't working, when you could have just, again, started over and got it to work. Yeah.
It's real good, man. One of the things that we've talked about is when you're I'll ask you, how do you come up with your recipes? Right.
Yeah.
So no, it's good because it's something that like even as a graphic designer, we do it too. Yeah. Right. So I'll let you say your piece.
So steal recipes.
Yeah.
Like that's how cooks and chefs get better.
It's a template.
Now don't go all plankton trying to get the Krabby Patty secret formula and stuff. But like if you like something at a restaurant, your favorite restaurant, like try to figure out what that recipe is. Make it yourself. First try making it without the recipe. You might come up with something better, but like get that recipe, understand what pieces do what and why they do it, and then make it your own. Like that's what I did with the breakfast fried rice. Like I understand the basics of it. Like I know how to cook the rice, get all the aromatics in there and everything.
Yeah.
But like the normal recipe calls for like some kind of vegetable oil, and then like when I was cooking the bacon, I was like, I could just use this bacon fat. It add more flavor to it.
Yeah, it was fire.
So It's just stuff like that. Like understand why people do it, and then just make it your own.
Yeah, even as graphic designers, we constantly are looking at templates and saying, okay, how can we take this template, or look at a reference and say, how can I make it my own? And I think it speaks to the fact that a lot of people are trying to be replicas of something or someone else when they're called and destined to be great within themselves. And the only way that you can learn to be your own secret sauce is to try things out and to make it your own. You can it is not okay. Like I want to speak to people who have been trying to figure it out by looking at other people. Like, don't get caught up in trying to be them, but find who you are and your secret sauce in the middle of it all by trying new things and being who you are and putting your character and your thoughts and your ideas. Like, it's okay to have a basis. It's okay to have a methodology. It's okay to have a way to do it, a formula, but based off of that, create it, carve it out, make it your own. You know what I'm saying?
Understand why people do certain things, and then like, I like this part from this one, I like this from this. Like you said, get a broad range of knowledge, and then pick out the pieces you like to fit your personality. So
exactly.
And on the flip side of that, like if I asked you to make a cake or something, like right off the bat without using a recipe, how long would it take you to figure it out?
Ooh. I would just go Google it and be like, how to make a cake.
So on the flip side, like, use other people's recipes, like with anything, like with graphic design. Like, I'm horrible at it, so I'm constantly looking at other people's stuff, because if it, like, for me to come up with some of the templates, it'd take me weeks
right
to probably do that.
Yeah.
So that's how people learn with cooking, with graphic designing, with anything.
And it's okay to rely on your strengths and have people to fill in where your weaknesses are, right?
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
It's okay to be better together. We have, in our team, our team dynamic is very much so, like, Ian's very big on, like, he knows code, he knows how to build things and have functionality, and he knows logic. And me, I'm more the creative. Like, I know I want to make things look nice. I want to put these pieces here, make the design look and feel good, and make it warming and welcome for new learners. And so, but it's not that just because he uses a template that I made, that doesn't make him less of a person. But I can build something and say, hey, Ian, I need logic to build a function in this, and I can share that with him, and through that, you become better together, because now all of our brains are working together to make something that's fantastic. So
I do the same thing. Like, oh, hey, I made this, I don't know, button or something. What do you think about it? And
yeah. Hey, throw it in template. All right, cool. Throw it in there and then use it for the next project. So
yep, absolutely.
Man, well, thank you for your time, man. Guys, thank you for listening in. Why don't you guys hit the like button, subscribe, share the podcast. If I want to give Ian, I want to give you a chance to share a little bit. I don't know if you want to promote yourself, but go ahead.
Crap, I didn't even prepare this part.
All right, no, you're good.
I mean, yeah, I do personal chef, private chef. If you have you want to get like a little intimate dinner, lunch, breakfast, hey, hit me up. I can send you one of my price sheets and stuff. But yeah, I'm open to be rented out, I guess.
Definitely. We're gonna have his website and his socials in the description below, so you can check out his work. You can check out what he does. Man, he's phenomenal at creating experiences. He's phenomenal at making people feel welcome. So, and I'm not just saying that because I know him, but because I know his character and I've personally experienced his cooking and his experiences. So I definitely want to encourage you guys, check him out, check out his page, follow him. And yeah, thanks for coming, bro.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me.
See you guys next time. Let's get it.